Hey everybody. Yeah, it's Tuesday, October 22nd, 2013. And this is a bit of a spoiler. Well, these are rumors, spoiler, whatever you want to call it, involving AJ Styles and the TNA World Championship. Now, we all know AJ became world champion at Bound for Glory, which was, despite how you look at the match and how it was done, we all agree was the best booking decision they did because it helps regain interest because now you have a TNA original, the franchise, the guy that competed in the very first match in TNA history, the guy that became the very first X Division champion in TNA history, in fact became the first triple crown winner and the first Grand Slam winner in TNA history. Well, actually the first triple crown, not Grand Slam, but you get the idea. Well, yeah, actually the first Grand Slam, I think. I'm not sure. But basically the guy that did the first was the one that did all the first for TNA. You know, did the first, well, not most of the first, but did the first, was the first triple crown, first X Division winner, first triple crown winner, and I think the first Grand Slam winner. You have to agree that despite how you looked at the match, it was a good booking decision on the part to put the belt on AJ. Now, speculation, according to WrestlingNewsWorld.com, and I'll provide a link down below. And this link is courtesy of Wrestling News Source, but it's being reported through them that Wrestling News World is reporting, and let me pull it up here so you guys can read it yourselves. This is what's being reported. This was reported 17 hours ago, basically around 3:20 p.m. yesterday. This was reported at 3:20 p.m. Pacific time, as far as I know, Pacific time. This was reported by Claylan Knox at Wrestling News World. This is reported. This is what they're reporting, and I quote, yesterday. It's being reported by WrestlingNewsWorld.com that TNA is planning to do an angle where AJ Styles will leave TNA as the current World Heavyweight Champion and take booking elsewhere, possibly even Japan. Look for Styles to make an announcement regarding his future on this week's episode of Impact. So it's basically according to Wrestling News World and being reported by Wrestling News Sources, Claylan Knox, yesterday around 3:20 p.m. Pacific time. It's being reported that TNA is planning basically this is what's being reported, that TNA wants to do an angle in the storyline, that because of AJ's contractual situation, being a world champion without a contract, that he will leave TNA and defend the title and take bookings elsewhere, even overseas in Japan, maybe Europe, Mexico, small independents here in the U.S., what have you. Now, what's funny about this is about not even 3 hours later, courtesy of ImpactWrestling.com, and again, this is also from Wrestling News Source, but according to ImpactWrestling.com, from what they report, Dixie Carter has ordered that a rematch for the World Championship take place on this week's edition of Impact Wrestling, which will see new champion AJ Styles defend against Bully Ray. She's ordering the match, but here's the thing, though. AJ Styles said in the Bound for Glory before the Bell edition of Bound for Glory, he basically said that storyline-wise, being under a contract, he doesn't have to listen to anybody. He doesn't have to do what anybody says. Now, even though she's ordered a rematch, it doesn't mean the rematch will take place. I mean, here's what TNA could probably do. They could probably say, like, yeah, he'll defend the title. And, to me, he'll defend the title, or maybe he'll come out and make the announcement that, yeah, I'm supposed to defend the title tonight, but who's to say if I defend it, I'm not going to get screwed? Now, I know a lot of people look at this as two ways. Look at this two ways. They look at the announcement. They look at the report. The first thing I reported, the speculation that with the angle, the storyline angle, well, AJ will take the belt, take bookings elsewhere, and probably defend the championship elsewhere. You might look at that as them copying CM Punk. Well, here's the thing, though. CM Punk, he said it in his Best in the World DVD set, Blu-ray set as well. CM Punk said that it was during the Money in the Bank pay-per-view that he re-signed with WWE midway through the pay-per-view. Now, you might say, well, wait a minute. If that's true, why did he appear at an independent show? It must have been part of his contract because it was part of the storyline. Everything you saw during that week was part of storyline, even him showing up at that independent show. Now, he did return the following week on Raw, but here's the problem. Here's the problem. What TNA, not problem, but here's the difference. What TNA is reportedly going to do here is reportedly, from what I'm reading here, and I'm trying to give TNA the benefit of the doubt if this report comes to pass, the speculation, this angle comes to pass, that to me it sounds like they want to follow through on it. TNA wants to gain viewership again. They want to gain interest again. So the best way for them is to follow through on this storyline and to actually have it to where this is my guess. This is my guess, ladies and gentlemen. The TNA, if they follow through on this storyline angle, where AJ takes bookings elsewhere as the TNA World Champion, they might do video of him defending the belt in Japan for Wrestling 1, for Wrestling-1, or for Wrestle-1, which is Great Muta's new promotion, I guess. Might have him defend it down in AAA. I mean, don't think TNA hasn't contacted some of these promotions in other countries like New Japan, like Wrestle-1, like AAA, like, places like that. Some places in Europe because they got a big UK following. Don't think they haven't contacted these people and said, okay, we got the storyline where we're going to have AJ go over to your place and he's going to defend the titles and we're going to do video footage of him doing that in your promotions. Because it was reported, ladies and gentlemen, a couple months ago, that TNA is allowing the superstars, some of the superstars, to take independent bookings. So if that's so with that, you would say, okay, they're letting them take independent bookings. That means that obviously they're going to let AJ do this with other independent promotions even here in the U.S., which is true, which is very true. But then again, when you take a look at what was reported 3 hours later, almost 3 hours later, and that Dixie Carter as a on-heel character, as a heel, if you will, on-screen heel, demands a rematch be made on a rematch take place on Thursday. Some of you, I know, will worry and think, oh, great, so TNA's just going to go back on the word with the storyline. No, they're not going to. Because here's the thing. TNA, they've made some bad business decisions. But Bound for Glory was the start for them to rectify this. And I don't think they're going to take the world title off somebody like AJ, who's one of the most talked about superstars right now, who's in one of the more intriguing storylines that they've ever had. I don't think they're going to take the belt off him right away. They're not going to do that. Because it's real simple. If they wanted to take the belt off of him, why would they even put it on him? Now, I understand a couple years ago, WWE did this whole 2-week deal where they crowned a new champion not once but twice in the same night. Rey Mysterio being champion at the beginning of the night, John Cena closing out, winning it from him. Now you might say, well, they wanted to keep John champion. That's great. But here's the thing. CM Punk comes back, and you have him as WWE champion still, officially. So you had 2 WWE champions, but still you had CM Punk, as many people looked at him, as the official champion, the real champion. So, to me, if WWE wanted to keep John Cena as their official champion then, they could have stripped Punk of the title and said, hey, yeah, you're back, and yeah, you have a rematch, or you have all the rights to want a rematch, fine, we'll give it to you. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that, and I don't think TNA is going to do this either. I don't think they're going to mess up on an opportunity and say, you know what? He's the world champion. What's going to intrigue people more? Having him lose the title just days after he wins it, or have him defending it storyline-wise in other promotions around the world and here in this country? Think about it. Think about it this way. Let's take a look at it this way. There are several independent promotions here in California, in Kansas, Texas, Tennessee, Florida. A lot of these independent promotions that if storyline-wise you have AJ Styles show up there and say, hey, I'll defend my TNA world title against anybody, or have him booked to defend against anybody, fine. You know, show video footage of him defending the title. To me, this is what TNA needs to follow through on. And I believe, and I'm hope, and I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're not going to screw this up. They're not going to screw this up and say, screw that storyline, we'll just give it back to Bully Ray. Because we all know eventually what world title match we're going to get down the line. We know this. Bully Ray has had a great run with the championship, not once but twice. He's had a great run. Don't get me wrong about that. He's earned that right to say he's had a great run as champion. But the time has come for fresh faces in TNA to be champion, for originals to be champions, for those that, yes, even though they were part of the developmental program up north in WWE and have been brought down to TNA and made into a major player like Derek Bateman has become, or is, I guess, being grooming, even like Derek Bateman is being groomed to become as this Ethan Carter III. To me, TNA needs not to screw this up, because apparently what I see them planning right now, because like I said, Derek Bateman, one of the developmental guys that only made a few appearances on Raw and SmackDown, being brought in and groomed to be a possible major player as Ethan Carter III because of his storyline relations to Dixie Carter. To me, we all know that TNA doesn't want to screw up the possibility of doing Carter versus Styles for the world title. We know that. We know that's what's coming. Excuse my upper lip hit the mic there. But we know that's coming. We know that's coming, ladies and gentlemen. Why do we know it's coming? Because TNA is going to make it happen. We know it. We know EC3, as a lot of people call him, is going to face the Phenomenal One. We know that. And TNA is not going to want to screw that up. You're not going to want to screw up the potentiality of AJ Styles, EC3, and what a good match that could be. You're not going to screw that up. They're not going to want to screw that up. And if they do, then apparently what a lot of people have said about Dixie Carter, real life or not, and about TNA backstage, real life or not, is going to be true. And that is they only depend on the big name stars. But to me, you've got this man as your world champion right now in the most intriguing storyline to date. And I don't think you're going to want to screw that up up, I don't think you're going to want to screw that up just because Bully Ray is a more recognizable name. You're not going to want to screw that up. Again, what they did at Bound for Glory with all the good booking decisions they made, with the Brosmans becoming the tag team champions, with Bobby Roode defeating Kurt Angle, Magnus defeating Sting, heck, even Gail Kim becoming champion for the third time of the Knockouts division, with the return of Abyss, if you will, whether you like that or not, and then AJ becoming champion, with all these good booking decisions, this Bound for Glory, like I said at the beginning, that was the first step, and they need to follow through on that first step. They need to continuously take steps in rebuilding the company. They need to take steps in regaining the trust of the fans. And the best way you're going to do that, is by having this man, AJ Styles, remain your champion in the storyline that he's in, and eventually lead us to what we all know is going to happen, and that's EC3 versus AJ Styles for the TNA Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship. We know it's going to happen. Everybody listening to this knows it's going to happen. Everybody at Wrestling News World, Wrestling News Source, No DQ, LordsofPain.net, Solomonsters Podcast, Don Tony and Kevin Castle, they all know it's going to happen. The Off the Rope Show, OTRS Central, they know it. The British Fist, they know it. The Wrestling Gurus, they know it. Tree of Woe Show, they know it. J-Dub, he knows it. Steve Breach, who lives in Northern California, just like I do, who went down and saw this show in person, he knows it. Half those people, those 600-something people that were in attendance at the Cox Arena in San Diego, they know it. So with every one of them knowing what's going to happen, they know that TNA cannot screw this up. Because if they screw it up, if in 2 nights they decide to screw this up and have AJ lose the World Championship back to Bully Ray, then it proves TNA is more dependent on the big name stars than of those that built the freaking company from day one. So to me, they need to follow through on this storyline that I'm talking about that's being reported. I'll provide the link down below to both this article and the article that's reporting the rematch that's going to take place on Thursday. But again, TNA does not need to screw this up. They screw it up, then they're screwing themselves. Because they're going to lose a hell of a lot of fans if they do this. So to me, TNA, Impact Wrestling, I am begging you right now. I'm physically on my knees, TNA. Right now, in front of this mic, in this audio video, I am physically on my knees, TNA, Impact Wrestling. Don't screw this up. Don't screw this up for any of us that you want to keep as your viewers. I am planning to tune in, or at least somehow watch Impact this week, because I want to see the reaction. I'll read what happens if I'm working that night, because I've been working for the past few nights now, or the past weekday nights, I should say, with my brother-in-law and his pressure washing business. But I will find a way to watch Impact. I will try to find a way to find out what goes down. But please, TNA, I am begging you. I know the Schleg Daddy, Jeff Shiegel at OTRS Central, and the Schleg Daddy TV, he's begging you. I know the British Fist. I know the Wrestling Gurus, Tree of Woe Show, J-Dub. Everybody that follows you, that does a video review of your pay-per-views and of your weekly show, they are begging you not to screw this up. Because this potentially this angle that you're planning to do, according to WrestlingNewsWorld.com, is going to be the angle that, in my opinion, saves your asses. And if you follow through on it, and you every week on Impact show video footage of him coming to the ring for another promotion and defending that title, whether it's in Japan, Europe, Mexico, Germany, Australia, whether it's here in Canada, or whether it's here in the States. If you follow through on this, this is going to help establish your company once again. It's going to help establish the importance of your world championship, and it's going to show you as a viable contender and competition in some ways to a certain other promotion up north. But you need to follow through on this and not screw it up on Thursday. You not need to give the title back to Bully Ray. As much as he deserved being champion, and I'm not saying he didn't, because he did deserve it. He did deserve his 2-time run as champion. But I'm telling you right now, do not screw this up, TNA, because you screw this up, and you're going to lose your fan base. Whatever supporters you have left, you're going to lose them, and you're going to lose them for good. So I'm telling you, TNA, and everybody listening, you do not need to screw this up. Let me know. So that's all I'm going to say on this. Let me know what any of you think about it. I'll provide the links down below. But do you agree? I'm sure you do. Do you agree that TNA does not need to screw this possible storyline angle with AJ up? Because I don't think they need to screw it up. I think they need to follow through on it. I think they need to make it happen. And that's all I'm going to say, because to me, it's going to help the company out.